Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in Christ, today I want to talk about something powerful, something divine, something that speaks to the very reason you are still here. You are the chosen one. You see, there are seasons when God calls, and there are seasons when God conceals. There are times when He sends you out into the world, and there are times when He draws you into a place hidden, covered, sheltered. Some of you are in that place right now. It feels like nothing is moving, like your life is on pause, like doors are closed. But I tell you, it is not a punishment, it is preservation. God has placed you in what I call incubation, just like a seed is hidden in the soil before it breaks forth into the sunlight, just like a child is hidden in the womb before it takes its first breath. God is keeping you hidden for your safety, for your growth, for your divine timing. Days may pass, weeks, even years, but those days are holy. Those days are not wasted. They are sacred preparation. Don't despise the incubation, because the reason you are hidden is because you are chosen. And when the appointed time comes, when the incubation is complete, you will not emerge the same. You will emerge stronger, greater, and unstoppable in the purpose for which you were created. Before you go, remember this: you are not one of the 99. You are the one God has chosen, the one He is preparing, the one He is raising up. If this message spoke to your spirit, then let it be a sign, like this video. Leave a comment of faith below and subscribe so you don't miss what God is releasing next. Every word you share, every click of support is not just an action, it is a declaration that you are standing in faith. You are part of this journey. So rise up, be bold, and let the world know you are the chosen one, and your time is coming. You are chosen, not forgotten. There are moments in life when the silence of heaven feels louder than the storms on earth. You pray, and the answer doesn't come. You wait, and nothing seems to move. You look around, and it feels as if others are advancing, others are being blessed, others are being seen, while you are left behind. In those moments, the voice of doubt whispers that you have been overlooked, abandoned, pushed aside. But I tell you, those whispers are lies, for you are not forgotten. The very breath you take is proof that heaven's hand is still upon you. To be chosen means to be set apart. It means you are not common, not ordinary, not easily dismissed. When God chooses someone, He marks them with purpose, even if the world cannot yet recognize it. Think of David, a shepherd boy in the field, overlooked by his own family. When Samuel came with the horn of oil, every brother was called before him, every candidate was considered, yet none of them carried the mark of the chosen. David was not even invited to the gathering. He was hidden in the wilderness, but even there he was not forgotten. God's eye was on him, shaping him, preparing him, teaching his hands to fight lions and bears so that one day he could face a giant. So it is with you. You may feel invisible, but heaven has already written your name. Chosen does not mean easy, and it does not mean immediate, but it does mean inevitable. What God ordains cannot be erased by man. You may be standing in the shadows, but the light of God has already marked you. You may feel small in the eyes of others, but in the throne room of heaven, you are mighty. Being chosen often looks like being forgotten, because before God reveals what He has placed in you, He allows you to be concealed. Concealment is not neglect, it is protection. When you are chosen, you are hidden for a season, because not everyone is ready for what you carry, and not every environment can handle your anointing. Joseph was chosen, but his brothers despised his dreams. They threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and plotted to erase his destiny. Yet in every low place, God was writing a higher story. In prison, Joseph may have thought he was forgotten, but even there, the hand of God was upon him. The pit was part of the path, the prison was part of the preparation, and the palace was always the destination. You are chosen, and that means your life is not random. Every tear, every delay, every hidden season has a purpose beyond what you can see. The enemy would not fight you so fiercely if there was nothing significant about you. You are chosen, and because you are chosen, the weight you carry is heavier, the battles you face are greater, and the journey is longer. But chosen ones are also the ones who rise, the ones who endure, the ones who carry the fire that cannot be quenched. Do not measure your worth by who notices you, for the one who formed you has already seen you. Do not define your future by your present silence. The God who called you has already spoken your destiny into existence. You are chosen, not forgotten. Incubation is divine protection. There are seasons when God pulls you away from the noise, when he closes doors that you thought should remain open, when he hides you in places that feel small, quiet, and unseen. To the human eye, it may look like delay. It may even feel like rejection, but in truth, it is his covering, just as a seed cannot survive if it is left exposed on the surface of the ground. Neither can your destiny thrive without a season of being buried. The soil may feel heavy, the darkness may feel suffocating, but it is in that very place that life is forming. Think of the egg that holds a bird within it. The shell is hard, the space is confined, yet inside that fragile chamber, something miraculous is taking place. The bird is being formed, strengthened, given what it needs to one day break free. Without that shell, the life within would be destroyed. That shell is not a prison, it is protection. The same is true of the womb, where a child is hidden for months, unseen by the world, yet every day developing in safety. Incubation is not punishment, it is God's strategy to guard what he has planted inside you until it is strong enough to stand. Many do not understand why they are pulled away from opportunities, or why doors suddenly shut. They think it is failure, but in reality it is preservation. God often removes you from people, places, and paths that could corrupt, harm, or destroy what he has placed in you. You may feel isolated. Isolation in God's hand is insulation. He is sheltering you from storms you cannot yet handle, shielding you from attacks you are not yet ready to face, and preserving the purity of what he has entrusted to you. Moses was placed in a basket and hidden in the reeds of the Nile. To the natural eye, it looked like abandonment, but it was the only way his life would be preserved from Pharaoh's decree. Elijah was sent to the brook Cherith, cut off from people living in obscurity, fed by ravens. To some it looked like exile, but it was God's way of protecting and sustaining his prophet until the appointed time. Jesus himself was taken into Egypt as a child, hidden from Herod's wrath, kept safe until the day of revelation came. Each moment of hiding was not weakness. It was a shield of divine protection. When you are in incubation, God places you under his covering where the enemy cannot reach you. You may not understand the confinement, but the very walls you think are trapping you are the barriers keeping you safe. The timing may not make sense, but the one who holds eternity sees the attacks before they come, and he positions you in a place the enemy cannot penetrate. The hidden place is sacred. It is where your roots grow deep, where your foundation is laid, where your spirit is strengthened away from the eyes of those who would mishandle what you carry. Incubation is divine protection. Hidden seasons build strength. There are times in life when God draws you away, when the path you walk seems to lead into obscurity, when you feel tucked away from opportunity and recognition. These hidden seasons can feel like exile, but in reality, they are the gymnasium of the Spirit. It is in the silence, in the unseen hours, in the places where no one is watching, that God is shaping the muscles of your faith. The world applauds the moment of victory, but God prepares his champions in the quiet battles no one else sees. A tree that grows fast, but without deep roots, will be toppled by the first storm. A tree that grows in secret, roots stretching far beneath the soil, may take longer to rise, but it will endure generations. Hidden seasons are about the roots. They are about stability, about depth, about unseen strength that cannot be shaken when storms rage. When you are in hiding, God is stretching your roots downward before he allows your life to rise upward. If he gave you exposure before depth, you would collapse under the weight of what you are called to carry. David spent years in the fields long before he stood on the battlefield with Goliath. Alone with his sheep, he fought off lions and bears. There was no applause, no crowd, no recognition, just the quiet proving ground of faithfulness. Those hidden battles forged the courage that one day would slay a giant. Joseph's hidden years in prison built the wisdom and endurance that would one day make him governor of Egypt. Even Jesus lived 30 years in obscurity before 3 years of ministry. Those years were not wasted. They were strengthening. When no one is watching, God is teaching you to endure. When no one applauds, God is teaching you to remain faithful. When no one affirms you, God is teaching you to hear his voice above all others. Hidden seasons demand discipline, and discipline builds strength. Just as an athlete trains in secret long before the spotlight of competition, too must you endure the preparation before the promotion. Strength is not built in moments of applause, but in hours of perseverance. It is forged in prayer when no one hears, in tears shed where no one sees, in choices of obedience that no one recognizes. Every unseen act is building resilience. Every hidden test is fortifying character. God uses the quiet to sharpen you, waiting to fortify you, the obscurity to prepare you. When your season of unveiling comes, it is the hidden strength that will sustain you. Hidden seasons strip away reliance on the approval of others. They force you to depend solely on God. They push you into intimacy with him, because when the world is silent, his voice becomes your lifeline. This dependence becomes your greatest strength, because it teaches you that your foundation is unshakable. Hidden seasons build strength. Delay is not denial. There are times when the promises of God seem to hang in the distance, out of reach, as though they were spoken to someone else. You wait, you pray, you labor, and yet the fulfillment does not arrive when you thought it would. The human heart grows weary in waiting, and the enemy seizes that moment to whisper that perhaps it was never meant for you. Perhaps God has turned his face away. Perhaps the vision will never come to pass. But delay is not God's rejection. Delay is his timing. Delay is the space where he works in ways unseen, aligning circumstances, preparing hearts, and positioning everything so that when the promise comes, it comes to stay. When the children of Israel stood at the edge of the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army at their back, it seemed too late. To their eyes, deliverance was delayed, but in truth, it was perfectly on time. God allowed the pressure to mount so that his power would be revealed in greater measure. The sea did not part early, but it parted at the exact moment it was needed. What looked like delay was God's stage for a miracle. Abraham was promised a son, yet he waited decades for Isaac to be born. Every year that passed seemed like further proof that the promise had failed. Yet it was in the delay that Abraham's faith was tested, refined, and strengthened. If the promise had come immediately, Abraham would not have learned endurance. He would not have learned to believe against hope, and the story would not have carried the same power. The delay gave weight to the promise. Joseph dreamed of greatness as a young man. Instead of ascending to power, he was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and locked in prison. His journey was filled with delays that seemed unfair and endless. Yet every delay was preparation. In the pit, he learned humility. In Potiphar's house, he learned stewardship. In prison, he learned faithfulness under trial. These delays did not cancel the promise. They carried him to it. In one day, prisoner became the governor, but the strength to carry that authority was forged in the waiting. Even Jesus waited. He did not begin his ministry at 12, though his wisdom astonished teachers. He did not begin at 20, though his zeal was unmatched. He waited until the appointed time of 30 years. Those hidden years were not wasted. They were the Father's design. Son of God himself embraced delay, for he knew that denial was never the hand of the Father, only timing. Delay trains the heart to trust when sight fails. It breaks the addiction to immediacy and anchors faith in the eternal. What feels like a closed door is often a door being reinforced so that when you walk through, no one can shut it. What feels like silence is God orchestrating a symphony beyond your understanding. Delay is not the grave of your promise. It is the womb of it. Delay is not denial. Preparation precedes elevation. Before God lifts a person to new heights, he always takes them through seasons of refining, of shaping, of equipping. The world celebrates sudden success, overnight breakthroughs, and instant elevation. But in God's kingdom, nothing of eternal value comes without preparation. Just as a foundation must be laid deep before a building rises tall, must your life be prepared before you can carry the weight of your calling. Elevation without preparation would crush you, but preparation makes you strong enough to stand. Think of the potter and the clay. The clay cannot demand to be displayed on the shelf before it has been molded, pressed, and fired. Every press of the potter's hand shapes it. Every turn of the wheel brings definition. Every moment in the fire makes it durable. Only then can it be elevated to its purpose. The same is true of you. God shapes you with his hand. He presses you through trials. He places you in refining fires, not to destroy you, but to prepare you. For without preparation, elevation is dangerous, but with it, elevation becomes destiny. Joseph's life demonstrates this truth. He dreamed of leadership, of authority, of greatness, yet he spent years in slavery and prison. These were not wasted years, they were years of preparation. In Potiphar's house, he learned stewardship. In prison, he learned faithfulness and resilience. These lessons built the character required to rule a nation. The elevation to second in command of Egypt did not come suddenly. It came after years of unseen preparation. The greater the calling, the greater the preparation required. David was anointed as king when he was still a shepherd boy, but he did not ascend to the throne immediately. Instead, he went back to the fields, to the solitude of tending sheep, the battles with lions and bears, to the long nights with only the stars as his witness. Later, he would face Saul's jealousy, betrayal, and years of running in caves. Those hidden years were his preparation. They forged a warrior, a worshiper, and a man after God's own heart. Without that preparation, David would not have had the strength to sit upon the throne. Even Jesus embraced preparation. For 30 years, he lived in obscurity, learning obedience, working with his hands, waiting for the appointed time. Only then did he step into his ministry. If the Son of God himself submitted to years of preparation before being elevated, how much more must we embrace the process? Preparation builds the endurance needed for the long journey, wisdom to handle responsibility, and the humility to carry authority without pride. Preparation is not glamorous, and it rarely feels exciting. It looks like discipline when no one notices, faithfulness when no one applauds, obedience when no one rewards. It feels like waiting, like silence, like hidden labor. Yet it is in those very seasons that God is training your spirit, sharpening your gifts, and fortifying your character. He will never place you where your preparation has not equipped you to stand. Preparation precedes elevation. Your appointed time will come. There is a season for everything under heaven, a moment divinely marked when what God has spoken unfolds before your eyes. Life may feel delayed, promises may seem distant, and waiting may stretch longer than you imagined, but heaven does not forget what it has decreed. God is a God of appointed times. He is not rushed by the impatience of man, nor is he hindered by the resistance of the enemy. When the moment he has chosen arrives, nothing can stand in its way. Seeds are buried in the soil long before they pierce through to the light. To the eye, It looks like nothing is happening, yet beneath the surface roots are forming, strength is growing, and life is preparing to break forth. The harvest never comes before its season, but it always comes in its season. In the same way, your life may feel hidden, your purpose may feel delayed, but it is not denied. It is simply waiting for the appointed time when God will unveil it. Abraham and Sarah waited years for the promise of a son. To them, the years stretched endlessly and their bodies weakened with age. Yet, when the appointed time came, Sarah conceived, and the laughter of Isaac filled their tent. The promise did not come too early, and it did not come too late. It came exactly when heaven had determined it should. No delay could cancel it, and no obstacle could block it. The children of Israel waited for deliverance from Egypt. 400 years passed, generations cried out, and it seemed as though God had forgotten. Then the appointed time arrived, and God raised up Moses with power and authority to lead his people out. What looked like centuries of silence ended in a moment of liberation. The waiting did not erase the promise. It only prepared the stage for a greater demonstration of God's power. Jesus himself was revealed at the fullness of time. The prophets spoke of him for generations. World groaned in darkness, and hope flickered like a dim flame. But when the appointed time came, the heavens opened, the angels sang, and the Word became flesh. His ministry, his death, and his resurrection were not random. They were perfectly aligned with the timing of the Father. Nothing could hasten it, and nothing could delay it. Your appointed time carries the same certainty. It may not match your calendar, and it may not unfold according to your expectations, but it is set in the counsel of heaven. Every delay is part of the design. Every hidden season is part of the process, and every prayer is a seed in the soil of time. When the moment comes, doors will open that no man can shut. Opportunities will align with precision, and what once seemed impossible will become reality. Your appointed time will come,